Hello everybody, this is Ogre Boy, and I'm going to be doing my ranking of the Terminator franchise. I just saw Terminator Dark Fate yesterday, so I've seen all of the movies and have reviewed them on here. So I've decided I'm going to go ahead and do my ranking. So starting out at number 6 is Terminator Salvation. I didn't really care for this movie as much because I think one of the main reasons I didn't is because of Arnold Schwarzenegger not being in it and everything, to be honest. And I didn't really care for the character that Sam Worthington played. I don't even remember the character's name and everything. I didn't really like Sam Worthington in the movie. He's one of those actors that I don't think is a terrible actor, but I don't think he's like somebody that's really great either. And I just didn't think he was really good in that one. And I didn't really like Christian Bale as John Connor, because it kind of felt like he didn't really want to be in this movie and everything, and it kind of shows in his performance and everything. Plus, I felt like they underused Helena Bonham Carter, and I hated the way they went with Kate and everything, her being pregnant, not really being in action or anything very much, because the way Terminator 3 had set her up is like she was going to be a really cool character and everything, but they just pretty much make her a smaller supporting role in the movie that doesn't really do much and everything. So I thought this movie was just really disappointing and everything. It took me 10 years to even see it, because I was dreading it, because I knew that I probably wasn't going to enjoy that one very much, and I just didn't really like it. But I will say that it does have great cinematography and special effects and stuff. It's a well-made movie. It's just kind of a boring movie, though. It's nice to look at, but that's really about the only thing about it that I can say I really liked. And also Anton Yelchin, who is one of my favorite actors. I really like him a lot, but in this movie I didn't really care for him. It felt like he was trying too hard to be Michael Biehn and everything. But so Terminator Salvation is number 6, and number 5 is Terminator Dark Fate. This movie was pretty good and everything. I really did enjoy it. I was disappointed with it, though, because I was expecting Arnold to be in this one a lot more, and he's only in here for like the last 30 minutes of the movie and everything, so it kind of ruined the movie for me. And plus, I hated what happens at the very beginning of the movie. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about, like in the first scene of the movie. I hate some of the directions they went with this movie, but I also do like some of the stuff about it. I liked some of the characters, especially Danny. I thought she was really cool, and Grace was pretty decent and everything. And I liked the relationship between her and Danny. I thought that was kind of cool. And Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor was awesome and everything. She kicked a lot of butt and everything, and well, just came back to the role like she had never left it. She was just really great and everything. And Arnold was great in this movie, but he just wasn't in it enough. And I think that I had my expectations for him being in it a lot higher than I probably should have. I should have known that since he didn't get the top billing and stuff, that he wasn't going to be in it as much. But I still expected more from it than we got, and some of this stuff felt like it was retreaded and everything, and the CGI in the movie was just absolutely horrible. Had some really, really bad CGI. But all in all, I think that for the most part, Terminator Dark Fate was a decent movie. It's just not one of my favorites and everything. So it's number 5. And number 4 is Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. This one I think is pretty good. I actually really enjoy this movie. I think that Nick Stahl was pretty good as John Connor, and Claire Danes was good as Kate, and everything. I'm not a huge fan of her as an actress, but I thought she did a good job playing Kate, and I thought she was way better than Bryce Dallas Howard, who played her in Salvation and everything. But like I said, that Salvation was more to do with the way the character was written than Bryce Dallas Howard's performance. But I really love this movie. I think it's a lot of fun and everything. I don't think Arnold is quite as good in this movie as he was in the in the other ones and everything. You kind of tell that he wasn't having as much fun in the role as he was in Terminator 2 and the first movie, but he was still good enough and everything. And there was a part in there that I really loved where like the TX like reboots him and makes him where he's going after John Connor, and he's like really it's really intense and stuff because and everything. And I love that scene. I thought that was a really good scene. It kind of reminded you of how intimidating he can be and stuff. But I do think this is an alright movie. I think it's underrated. I don't think it deserves the hate that it gets and everything. I think it was a fairly well made movie and everything, and the special effects and the action in it is really good. So I mean, there's more to like than hate on it. I don't get why it gets so much hate and everything. And could it have been better? Yes, but yeah, I still enjoyed it quite a bit. So Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines is number 4, and number 3 is the original Terminator. Now I know this is controversial having it this low in the list and everything, but I absolutely do love this movie. It is a classic. It's a masterpiece of action movies and everything. I love that it like blends the sci-fi genre, the action genre, and the slasher genre, all three perfectly and everything. It's a really intense movie. Arnold is excellent as the villain in this movie. Linda Hamilton is great as Sarah Connor. She's not quite to being the awesome butt kicker that we see in later installments, but she's still really good. And Michael Biehn was great as Kyle Reese and everything. And it's just a really fun movie and everything. It's James Cameron's writing and directing is great. The special effects for the most part still hold up really well. They kind of do look they have aged a little bit towards the end of it with the Terminator stalking them and stuff when he becomes the endoskeleton and stuff. It has aged a little bit, but to be honest, it didn't really bother me that much because I mean, at the time it was released, this movie's on a lot smaller budget than any of the other movies in the franchise. Plus, I think that looks better than most of the stuff we saw in Dark Fate. And Dark Fate kind of gives you a new appreciation for the special effects in this movie. But I absolutely love the first Terminator movie. It's a great movie, and it's number 3. And number 2 is Terminator Genisys. This is one that most people I know either think it's just okay or they don't like it at all and everything, but I can understand. I mean, it's PG-13, the action's not quite as good as it could have been and everything, but I actually really enjoyed this movie. I also know a lot of people don't like it as much because of the big twist being revealed in the trailers of John Connor being a Terminator, which I absolutely hate that they run that twist and everything, because that would have been an awesome twist going into the movie not knowing anything about it. But unfortunately I'd seen the trailer before I saw the movie, and I actually wasn't even excited to see the movie because of that, and I ended up still really liking this movie a lot and everything. The action scenes are still pretty good for being PG-13. I think that Emilia Clarke was great as Sarah Connor. I think she was better than anybody gives her credit for. I thought she was really good in it, and I think that Jason Clarke as John Connor, I didn't like him though. I thought he sucked as John Connor, but the rest of the cast I thought was all pretty good. The guy that played Kyle Reese, I can't remember his name. It just like totally slipped my mind, but I thought he did a good job. I thought he was way better than Anton Yelchin in Salvation for sure and everything. And yeah, it does have some bad CGI, but not like, they don't overuse the CGI. They have as much practical effects as they can and everything. So it is a lot. To me, it's just a lot more fun and everything. I love the whole relationship between Sarah Connor and the T-800 Arnold's character. She called him Pops and stuff because he pretty much raised her. I love that story arc, and I love how it has like references to the first two movies and everything in this one. It's just a really good movie. I personally feel like it's the most underrated movie out of the franchise, because I could say that all of the movies after the second one are underrated. Even though I don't really like Salvation, I can understand why some people would say it's underrated and everything, because it didn't do very good. But I feel like that Terminator 3, this one, and Dark Fate are all three good movies, and they're all kind of underrated in their own ways. Even though I was disappointed with Dark Fate, I still think that it was still a good movie and everything. But I absolutely love Genesis. It's just such a great movie. So that's number 2, and number 1 is, of course, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Everybody that's a Terminator fan would say that this is the best one in the franchise. I know most people even, I know there's even some people that say that this is their only favorite movie in the franchise, because I know there are some people that don't even like the first movie and everything, but they love this one and everything. But it does everything that a good sequel should do. It takes the world from the first movie and expands it really well and everything, better than most sequels do. And the action is great in it. The characters are all really likable. You care about everybody in the movie and everything. I love the relationship they build with the T-800 and John Connor and everything, and like him teaching him the Hasta La Vista Baby, and teaching him lessons and stuff. I thought that was really cool. Just the way the movie is written, I love it. And I love, like, it kind of reminds me of the Iron Giant in a way, except it's a Terminator instead of the Iron Giant. But I love that about this movie. It's just a really, really great movie. Sarah Connor is awesome in this movie, at her very best in this movie. I thought she was great in Dark Fate and Genesis, but Sarah Connor is awesome in this movie and everything. And the TX is one of the greatest movie villains of all time and everything. It's just such a great movie and everything. So Terminator 2 Judgment Day is number 1. So let me know in the comments what your Terminator ranking is. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it got a little controversial there, because Terminator 3 being lower than number 2 and Genesis being at number 2. But that's my personal opinions on these movies. But let me know in the comments what you think of them, and how would you rank the Terminator franchise and everything. Let me know that, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.
This is the song that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend.
That's enough, guys.
Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was, and they'll continue singing it forever, just because this is the song that doesn't end.